Hi friends, welcome to our channel Way to Success. இந்த வீடியோவில் PGTR Zoology Unit 1 Ascidiaனுக்கான ஷார்ட் நோட்ஸ் பார்க்கலாம். Ascidian Herdmania Classification Phylum Chordata Subphylum Urochordata Class Ascidiacea. General characters of Ascidian. It is a marine animal. It is cosmopolitan in distribution. It is sessile in adult stage, but the larva is a free-swimming form. It is sedentary, remain attached to rocks and other substratum. There are 2,300 species of Ascidians. Three types of Ascidians are solitary, social, and compound Ascidians. In compound Ascidians, each individual is called zooid. The common name of Ascidian is sea squirt or sea potato. It is bag-like structure, cylindrical body with a broad base for attachment. The adult Ascidian is enclosed in a protective test or tunic, hence it is called tunicate. Ascidian comes under Urochordata because the notochord found only in the tail region. Ascidian is a microphagous animal because it feeds on microorganisms, so that it is called ciliary feeder. When it is disturbed, it emits two jets of water. The development is indirect and the larva is tadpole larva. It undergoes retrogressive metamorphosis. Structure of Ascidian. Ascidia are a solitary animal having a bag-like body. The body is divided into three regions. The pharyngeal region contains the pharynx, while the abdomen region contains most of the organs, and the post-abdomen contains the heart and gonads. The body of Ascidian is covered by a translucent tunic or test. The tunic is composed of a carbohydrate and some amount of cellulose-like compound called tunicin. The outer surface of the test or tunic forms a thin transparent cuticle is composed of protein. The free end of the body bears two apertures. One at the top is oral or branchial siphon containing the mouth. The other aperture is placed at the side is called atrial funnel or atrial siphon. The atriophore is situated in the middle of the atrial funnel. In a living condition, stream of water passes through the oral funnel and goes out by atrial funnel. If the animal is disturbed, the body wall contracts instantly. As a result, the water is expelled out like jets. So the common name of Ascidian is sea squirt. Next we can see about the test or tunic. The body is enclosed in a tough integument called test or tunic. It is soft, leathery and translucent. Test is formed of 60% of tunicin. Tunicin is a complex of polysaccharide, cellulose along with proteins and calcium salts. Unlike the shells of mollusks, the tunic is composed of living tissue and blood supply. Test is the connective tissue formed of translucent matrix, wandering cells, intercalating fibrils, calcareous spicules, and branching blood vessels. There are two types of spicules. They are microslurs and megaslurs. The spicules give rigidity to the test. Body wall. Body wall underlying the test is called mantle. Mantle attached to test at the two apertures and forms oral siphon at oral aperture and atrial siphon at atrial aperture. Oral siphon and atrial siphon can be opened or closed by muscular activity. By its sudden contraction, jets of water can be expelled through these two openings, and hence the name sea squirt. Mantle encloses a cavity called atrial cavity. which contains internal organs. Mantle consists of three layers. The outer epidermis, it is closer to test. The second layer is mesodermis, forms connective tissue, consists of gelatinous matrix, muscle fibrils, blood vessels, nerve fibers, mesoblast cells. The inner endodermis, it lines the atrium. Atrium, the spacious cavity lying between the mantle and the pharynx and enclosing the visceral organs is called atrium. It is lined by inner epidermis of mantle. The atrial cavity is formed by the involution from the outer surface. The atrial cavity is throughout the body except in the anterior and ventral region. It opens to the outside anterodorsally by atriophore. Next, coelom. Due to the extensive development of atrium, coelom is reduced. In adults, it is represented by renal, pericardial and gonadial cavities. Digestive system. Digestive system includes the alimentary canal and digestive glands. Alimentary canal. The digestive tract is coiled and complete. The following parts form the alimentary canal. Mouth. The mouth is present on the top of the branchial siphon at the anterior end. It is guarded by four lips or lobes of the test and leads into the mouth. Buccal cavity. It is a narrow and laterally compressed cavity of branchial siphon lined by epidermis. It is called the stomodeum. At the base of the stomodeum is the ring of branchial tentacles richly supplied with nerves. The free end of tentacles meet at the center to prevent the entry of larger food particles into the pharynx. Pharynx. Buccal cavity is followed by the pharynx. It occupies the major part of the body or atrial cavity. It is differentiated into two parts: prebranchial zone, branchial zone. Prebranchial zone, it is a smaller anterior region having smooth wall without folds, cilia and stigmata or gill slits. It is separated from the branchial sac by two circular, thin, parallel and ciliated ridges called anterior and posterior peribranchial bands enclosing a narrow ciliated peribranchial groove. Second one, branchial sac. It is the larger posterior region of the pharynx. It is also known as the branchial basket because of its hooks, as its lateral walls are perforated by numerous elongated gill slits of stigmata. The epithelium lining the stigmata bears long cilia called lateral cilia. The pharyngeal wall consists of a network of broad longitudinal and transverse bars at regular intervals, enclosing many square areas called stigmatic areas, each 5 to 6 stigmata. Next one, trabeculae. The outer wall of branchial sac is connected to mantle by several hollow strands called trabeculae. Dorsal lamina. A thin flap or fold is suspended from the mid-dorsal border of the roof of branchial sac is called hyperpharyngeal band or dorsal lamina. Next, endostyle. A shallow longitudinal midventral groove called endostyle is present on the floor of the branchial sac. Endostyle consists of 5 longitudinal ciliary tracts alternating with 4 longitudinal tracts of mucus secreting glandular cells. The cilia of the median tract are the longest of all. The endostyle of urochordate is homologous with the hypopharyngeal groove of cephalochordates and thyroid gland of vertebrates. Next, esophagus. The Pharyngeal sac leads into the esophagus, which is very short, curved, and thick-walled tube opening into stomach. Stomach. It is wider than esophagus, thin-walled, sphinctered at both ends, and has a smooth inner surface. Intestine. The stomach leads into the intestine, which is thin-walled U-shaped tube. Rectum. The terminal part of the intestine leads into a short, narrow tube called a rectum, internally lined with cilia. Cloaca. The atrial cavity or cloaca leads dorsally into the atrial siphon, which opens to the outside through the atrial aperture. Next, digestive glands. Liver. It is a bilobed gland attached to the stomach. Liver secretion contains a strong amylase, protease, and a mild lipase. Pyloric gland. The pyloric gland performs a dual function, that of a vertebrate pancreas and of an excretory organ. Feeding and digestion. Ascidian is a ciliary feeder or filter feeder. Food is microorganisms like algae, diatoms, etc. The water current which enters through the mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, intestine, and leaves the body through the atrial siphon. The branchial tentacles prevent large particles but allow minute food particles. The planktons retained inside the branchial sac. The mucus gland cells of endostyle secrete mucus. The food-laden mucus is carried into the esophagus and then into the stomach. The secretion of liver and pyloric gland help for the digestion of food. Food is digested in the stomach and absorbed in the intestine. The undigested food is expelled out through the atrial aperture. Respiratory system of Ascidian. Pharynx or branchial sac is the respiratory apparatus. Pharynx is perforated by numerous gill slits or stigmata. The water current brings oxygen and flows through pharynx, gill slits, atrium, and expel out through atrial fluid. Gaseous exchange takes place in the vascular trabeculae present in the atrium. The chest also acts as respiratory organ containing vascular ampullae and blood vessels which help in gaseous exchange. Nervous system. The Ascidian central nervous system is formed from a plate that rolls up to form neural tube. The number of cells within the central nervous system is very small. The neural tube is composed of sensory vesicle, the neck, the visceral or tail ganglion, and the caudal nerve cord. Although there is no true brain, the largest ganglion is located in the connective tissue between the two siphons and sends nerves throughout the body. Beneath this ganglion lies an exocrine gland is formed from the nerve tube and is homologous to the spinal cord of vertebrates. Ascidian lack special sense organs. Circulatory system of Ascidian. The circulatory system consists of blood, a heart, blood vessels, and sinuses. The blood contains a colorless plasma and a few corpuscles. Ascidia lacks capillaries. The blood and the tissue fluid are intermingled. The fluid contains lymphocytes, phagocytic macrophages, vacuolated compartment cells, and many colored and colorless cells. Some Ascidians possesses vanadocytes, that is, cells having green vanadium containing pigment in the plasma. The pigment is presumed to be respiratory pigment. Some of the corpuscles are phagocytic and the others contain pigments. The heart is a fusiform sac-like structure which is surrounded by pericardium. The heart is situated below the pharynx. The heart communicates with a system of blood spaces called the hemocoel. Some of the larger spaces have an endothelial lining and thus form a blood vessels. Below the endostyle, the heart gives a ventral or hypobranchial vessel to supply blood to the various parts of the pharynx. From the opposite end of the heart, another vessel called visceral vessel emerges out to supply blood to the viscera. The direction of flow of blood through the heart is periodically changed due to the reversal of peristalsis of heart muscles. Such a phenomenon is very rare and is not ordinarily observed in the circulatory system of any animal. Excretory system of Ascidian. There is no definite excretory organ in Ascidia. The nephrocytes present in the blood are found to accumulate excretory products in the cytoplasm. These cells contain particles of ureates and xanthine. It is recorded that about 95% of the nitrogenous waste are excreted in the form of ammonia. The neural gland also functions as the excretory organ. It is present between the branchial and atrial siphon. This gland is a homologous structure similar to the pituitary gland of vertebrates. Nervous system. The entire nervous system is reduced to a single nerve ganglion called cerebral ganglion or brain. It is situated dorsal to the neural gland and between the oral and atrial funnels. This ganglion gives off nerves to the oral and atrial funnels and thus helps to regulate the flow of water current. Sense organs. In Ascidian, the sense organs are absent. The pigment spots or ocelli that are present in the adults around the funnels are recorded to be photoreceptors in a slowly developed condition. But in a fully grown tadpole larva, this photoreceptive organ is highly developed. Reproductive system of Ascidian. Ascidia is a hermaphroditic animal. The gonads are sac-like structures situated in close association with the intestine. The gonads are mesodermal in origin. The ovary and testis possesses elongated gonoducts. The gonoducts open into the atrium. The egg and sperm are discharged into the atrium and from here are expelled to the exterior. Fertilization is external. The egg and sperm attain maturity at different times. Thus, self-fertilization is prevented. Besides sexual reproduction, multiplication by budding also takes place. Ascidia is noted for its great potency of regeneration. Development and life history of Ascidian. Development is indirect, that is, development is accomplished through metamorphosis. The metamorphosis includes a series of changes in which a larva has to undergo before attaining its adulthood. Ascidia is the best example for metamorphosis. The highly developed tadpole larva transforms into a sessile and degenerated adult. Pre-larval stages. The eggs are small and yolkless. Each egg is covered by some membranes which help to float in water. Cleavage is holoblastic and nearly equal at the initial stages. A blastula with a few cells are produced. Gastrulation by invagination of cells. After 3 days, a free-swimming tadpole larva emerges. The tadpole larva has all the chordate characters in their organization. Tadpole larva. A fully grown tadpole larva is highly motile and does not take food from outside. That is non-feeding form stage. It has elongated body. The body is oval in outline and divisible into the head and the tail. The body is covered by thin tunic. The tail is long and shows a tail fin or caudal fin. The tail is supported by notochord. hence it comes under Urochordata. On the dorsal side above the notochord, hollow nerve cord is present. The nerve cord is enlarged at the anterior end as a cerebral vesicle. In the cerebral vesicle, pigmented eye spot is present. Statocyst is also present. They work as sense organs. On either side of the notochord in the tail region, muscles are present which are helpful in the locomotion. On the trunk region, digestive system is present. It shows large pharynx with few gill slits. They open into atrium. On the midventral floor of the pharynx, an endostyle is present. Atrium opens out through atriophore. Below the pharynx on the ventral side, a muscular heart is present. On the anterior end of the trunk, 3 adhesive papillae are present. These are very much useful to attach the larva to the substratum. This tadpole larva shows all chordate characters. This larva undergoes retrogressive metamorphosis and develops into adult herdmania. Retrogressive metamorphosis. Retrogressive metamorphosis means degenerative changes where an active larva transforms into a sedentary adult. Changes during metamorphosis. Fixation of the larva. The larva swims for some time without feeding. It is fixed to a substratum with the help of the adhesive papillae. It stands erect with the tail upwards. Then it undergoes retrogressive metamorphosis. The changes are: first, notochord, nerve cord muscles and tail will be reduced. All the above structures will help the larva to swim freely in the water, but they are not useful to the sedentary adult. The alimentary canal becomes complicated. The pharynx enlarges in size. The number of gill slits will increase by divisions. The stomach and the intestine will grow. The nervous system is reduced and the anterior part of nervous system is developed into a small neural ganglion attached to its neural gland is present. The atrial cavity enlarges into sac-like structure. The eye spot and statocyst will completely disappear. Gonads develop from mesenchyme. Significance of Ascidian tadpole larva. The larva possesses true chordate characters such as notochord and dorsal tubular nerve cord, which are lacking in the adult. Thus, the larva proves that Ascidian is a chordate. It is considered that the free-swimming ancestral vertebrates. Free-swimming larva is very important in the dispersal of the species. Life history provides an excellent example for retrogressive metamorphosis. Thank you for watching this video.